Hi, my name is Mike Polsey with MA Polsey Consulting. And as we've been working through and dealing with the COVID-19 coronavirus, we've got a lot of clients that have been asking questions about how to effectively work from home. So we've decided to start putting together some educational material for you. And today I would like to introduce you to two key people within our organization that can give you some ideas and cover some good basic, good security hygiene methods to work from home and do it securely. So Brian Millar, head of our security practice, and Nick Polsey, solutions architect. With that, I'll turn it over to them, and please stay tuned for more educational material. We will be providing more as time goes on.
Alrighty, hey, thanks a lot, Mike. So as Mike mentioned, I am Brian Millar here, head of our security practice here at MA Polsey, and we also have Nick on the call.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Thanks, Brian. Nick Polsey, solutions architect with MA Polsey.
Today we want to go through some of the customer requests that we've had to work from home effectively. Obviously during this pandemic, we feel a lot of people were kind of caught off guard by the scope and the magnitude of having to work from home. A lot of times people plan disaster recovery around a subset of people that are essential during this, but I think one of the things that people have found during this is they needed a lot more people to be able to work from home. And some of the things we want to talk through is how to do that effectively. We've helped a lot of our customers put together some solutions in a quick fashion, and we've got some things that are probably useful to you as well. Hopefully you're past this hurdle, but there's also going to be some things to consider in the future. So obviously technology is one part of this and one aspect, but there's lots of things that people need to consider to make this an effective solution long term.
Yeah, Brian, that's exactly right. I mean, a lot of the calls from customers we received early on in the pandemic were around laptops, phones, headsets, monitors. A lot of customers didn't think about the need for a laptop or an extra charger or a headset to bring home with them. When we started to see this uptick, availability of product got scarce very quickly. A lot of the phone solutions that we sell for our customers have the ability to be basically picked up. The phone could be picked right up, brought home, and plugged in. But customers didn't have the small components, a way to power the phone. They didn't have the necessary maybe headsets because everybody is, a lot of people have dogs and kids and a significant other at home. So they needed a good quality headset to not only provide good quality audio, but block out some of the background noise. External monitors for those laptops, a lot of times that's a big productivity boost for a lot of people. Not being able to have a second monitor at home could really negatively impact somebody's business. So then on the collaboration side, people still needed to be able to collaborate. They still need to be able to collaborate both internally and externally. So there's been a lot of tools that we've leveraged to help customers during this transition. One of them has been Cisco WebEx. So Cisco WebEx was offering a free trial for our customers where we could actually go and provision that for them and then guide them through that process and get them collaborating both internally and externally. And we saw a significant uptick in that as well.
Yeah, and then I can say from our perspective, we at MA Pulse, we use soft phones, and not having a physical phone is something that's been a challenge for me. So having that extra monitor just for a soft phone is something I hadn't considered either. So I had to go out and get myself an extra monitor as well. And it definitely helps having that real estate to be able to do things like that. Some of the other things that you really don't have a lot of control over that not everybody considers either is network access at home, internet speeds. A lot of these things that we're talking about here take significant bandwidth, and audio quality goes down. There's going to be things that are outside of your control. You can't control where everybody lives and the internet access that everybody has. So it's a struggle for that as well. The other thing is passcodes, remote login. A a lot of people just are not as technically savvy as some others, and being able to log in remotely is a stress for them, and they need to be able to get their job done, and they need to understand how to do this. So there may be some training involved. There's going to be new ways for them to do things. Do they have all the passcodes that they need to get into their applications? I've heard of people that have, well, at work, it just remembers my password and I can get in and I don't know what my password is anymore. So you got to consider from an employee perspective, they might not have the passcodes that they need to get into all their applications, where at work, they put them in, and whether it was in a web browser or however the company allowed it, those are passcodes that are long gone. So from an employee and an employer perspective, you got to be ready to reset some of those passcodes and help people through that process as well. So that's definitely, I think, a challenge for a lot of these as well. The other thing is secure connectivity to the office. Now, obviously, we've had a mixture of people that have different ways to access the office. VPN is a good one. I mean, obviously, we're talking about VPN because it can encrypt your traffic into the company network. It works well. It works better if you have a company issued laptop that you're connecting in, because what you're essentially doing is you're taking that laptop and plugging it into your network. So you want a secure endpoint device that you're doing that with. And when we talk about VPN, we're not talking about these VPNs on the internet that you're using to connect. We're talking actually corporate approved VPN. You log into the company network, not some fly-by-night internet approved VPN. So I just want to differentiate that, because there's definitely people out there that say, I got a VPN. It's not the same thing. Some of the other things, access mechanisms, such as Citrix or published desktops. I mean, Nick, you've got some other customers out there that we've deployed some of these for as well, correct?
Yeah, so Citrix is a great alternative to a great option for a connectivity method for customers that have a need to access applications and larger file structures and databases where a VPN might not perform optimally. So when you establish a VPN, like Brian mentioned, you're putting yourself on that network. So anytime you reference a file, you're pulling that file across the network, which could be kind of slow for people. Citrix is very lightweight. At 22K per session, the network overhead required to establish a Citrix connection is very small. So it presents a better solution to the customer. It really helps scale that network bandwidth down. For larger organizations that have a couple hundred to thousands of employees connecting remotely, it's really the only way to go when you start to scale up in those sizes.
Yeah, and that's the whole fat client versus thin client type of thing. And from a remote desktop or a published desktop, depending on if you are providing the resource at home, it's something that could be a fat client where you have the application ready to go and it can connect. Or that could be a BYOD type of solution where you don't have any control over the endpoint device, and all you've got to manage is that remote desktop or Citrix application. It's a lot cleaner handoff from an end user's perspective. Some of the things we want to talk about from a security consideration as well. This first slide is tailored more towards the employer. What is the expectations that you as an employer are setting for those end users working remotely? One of the things are acceptable use policies. As you have people working from home, you need to set the expectations. What are you going to be doing while you're at home? You need to protect the data at home just as well as you do while you're at work. So you need to make sure that they understand that when they do move their operations to home, and to also try to maintain those same security procedures. We talked a little bit about a VPN and maybe a company laptop and a protected laptop, or you move the perimeter to those Citrix devices and those remote desktops. So you need from an employer perspective to maintain that security. Multi-factor authentication is something else that we always push as a definite preference for any type of remote access, because you're going to have a lot of people accessing things across the network. and on the internet, and the bad guys are out there and they're going to try and hack into your stuff. So multi-factor is always something we put out there as something that we want to see more of our customers do. Endpoint security. Again, if people are putting files and data out on their endpoints, you want to make sure that's protected. If it's something that's going to be VPNing into your network, you want to make sure it's protected. One of the phrases we heard, a few days back was something called, front door, back door, cloud. Those are the 3 entry points that, a bad guy might take into your data, into your networks. Front door obviously being the traditional firewall at your corporate network. Well, everybody's moved home now, so now you've opened up a back door. Now you've got all these people at home on their home networks that are not as secure as the front door. So you want to make sure that the bad guys can't get in through that back door. And obviously the cloud is the cloud. You've got a lot of data out in the cloud. The bad guys can access that because it's in the cloud. So you got to protect them all. So you want your remote resources to be protected while they're mobile. So like I say, if it's a company-owned laptop, it's a little easier to do. You want to make sure you've got that endpoint security that's managed and monitored centrally by your IT and security department. So hopefully as an employer, you have some of those things that you can take advantage of. Now, as an employee, the other thing you got to make sure from your perspectives, if you're using a home device, bring your own device that you're connecting into your network, if you can keep it up to date with patches. We don't expect everybody to be technically savvy, so that might be difficult. You might have an old workstation, might be Windows 7 still, so obviously there's going to be things that you can't do. But again, that's where the employer needs to take over and say, okay, we're allowing these, and we have a certain level of expectations. We're balancing risk with, allowing employees to work from home. Employee training. We want to stress that as you're working from home, we expect you to adhere to similar things that you would do at work. Don't write down your passwords so that anybody in your house can read them. Lock your screen when you're not using it. Use a separate account. Don't share an account on your home computer. Create a separate account. Don't open suspicious emails when you're at home. Again, don't open up that back door. Don't let the bad guys in. And use secure wireless networks. Don't hop on your neighbor's open guest Wi-Fi, to do work. Make sure you got your own home wireless network. Don't go to the coffee shop and start working from there where well, you can't work for the coffee shop anymore because they aren't going to let you, but don't sit in the parking lot of your coffee shop and work from there either. That's not a good thing. And the other thing is keep your home and your work separate. You want to make sure that, you are at home. So obviously you might want to check out your Facebook account. You might want to check your personal email. Try to keep the two separate. If you're connected and doing work on your work, don't go doing personal work at the same time. Disconnect from work. Disconnect your VPN if you have that. Disconnect from that remote desktop session. Then do your personal stuff. We don't want you doing both simultaneously, just like if you were at work. At work, you wouldn't want to be looking at your Facebook. Hopefully you're not. Never know. We see all sorts of things. But it's the same thing at home. Don't browse the internet unless it's work related. But obviously it's your own device. These are good suggestions from a security perspective, and it's kind of what we're looking to propose for working from home solutions. So things that everybody should keep in mind. And we do have some additional resources on the COVID-19. We have our URL here, mapulsey.com, COVID-19 resources. Go there. We do have a lot of things, with offerings from our Cisco provider, our Cisco partnership, WebEx solutions that they're offering, VPN solutions that they're offering. So there's a lot of things that vendors are opening up to help through this time. So obviously go to those resources. You'll learn a little bit more about what we can provide you there. And we'd love to have you get in touch with us. Obviously our main office is in Rome, New York. Don't come visit us yet because there's not a lot of people there. We're practicing our social distancing and working from home, but please give us a call. You can email us, info@mapulsey.com as well. So we thank you very much for taking the time out of your day.